Hey YouTube, Mochismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. Today's subject will be damaged goods versus defective goods. And obviously, you know, we're talking about narcissistic personality disorder. Thing about damaged goods, if you buy them, we're talking merchandise, but we'll use that analogy as it pertains to the narcissist. And the narcissist being the defective goods as opposed to damaged goods. Well, we won't even use merchandise because that's getting to be, that sounds a lot like a narc would think. We're humans, so in the sense of damaged goods, we've heard that word mentioned as it pertains to some women or even men that have gone through something in life before they meet you. And so that's a label that's been given to that type of person. So I'm here to tell you, a person who's been damaged in life, they have a chance to be restored, repaired, if you will, spiritually. Maybe not always physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and that type of thing. But a defective good is something that has a problem from within the manufacturer. And that manufacturer not being God, that manufacturer being the manufacturer of that dilemma in which they deal with or they suffer with. And this comes from the parent. They are the manufacturer. They manufactured this disorder in this individual child. How did they do that? If you didn't know, it's either overly disciplining the child. I just said it before. Most of us in the world who are stern with our children in times past thought and believed that, you know, we're doing the thing that we need to do to raise our children. But the disordered parent goes to, they go to no end. And they make a project, they make an occupation out of disciplining the child, whether it's verbally or physically. So they're the manufacturers of this disorder that this child adopts. And so the defective good, which being the narcissist, it can't be repaired. It oftentimes has to be destroyed. That means it has to be taken out of service. And sometimes, if you notice in retail, use that for example, they get a recall and they pull them from the shelf because the recall is so massive. The defective good is so immense, and to the point where they don't want to risk anyone else getting their hands on this defective product, especially if it's something that may pose a danger, say a chainsaw or something like that. So I'm here to tell you guys, as it pertains to narcissistic personality disorder, these individuals are defective. This I tell you because I want you to really get it through your head that if, in fact, and I know some of us are contemplating giving the narcissist another chance, we're measuring the narcissist's good deeds by their bad deeds. And we're looking at how their good deeds, as far as they showed you, which was false and fake, they outweigh their negative. This is the lie we tell ourselves. Because understand, I just told you they're defective. Everyone and their grandmother on here tells you this very thing. They are destroyers. They come in your life for one reason, to destroy you. That should be enough, but obviously there are us out there that we feel like we need to give this another chance. We have children in common. We have a house together. We have properties together. We have investments. We have a business together. And so for the sake of the business, I'm just going to hang in there with them. Now, mind you me, I'm not saying if you have financial interests together and you're invested to a large degree with this individual, say companies and different things, I'm not here to advise you to just pull the plug erratically, and I stress the word erratically. But in essence, you still have to pull that plug sooner rather than later, and you have to strategize and find a way to in fact do this unbeknownst to the narcissist, undetected of the narcissist. You need to do it quietly and you need to do it stealthily. That means quickly, stealthily, quickly, quietly. This is an imminent problem. The longer you stay in it making excuses for the defective product, which is the narcissist, the higher the risk of you cutting yourself with that chainsaw that's already been recalled. You're there thinking, well, I'm sure it didn't affect my chainsaw because I've been using it 2 weeks now and I haven't had a problem. And that's a scenario too. You could be involved with a narcissist for like a year, and you could run into someone that tells you about narcissists, and you can apply everything that they're describing to you to your person at home, which you're now understanding could very well be a narcissist, your boyfriend or wherever. So you're there with your girlfriend who's just informed you about narcissism. You begin to, in essence, watch this, defend after you've told your girlfriend, well, you know, my boyfriend ain't just, everything you just described sounds like my boyfriend, you know, and you chuckle it off and you take a little sip of the wine cooler in the backyard at the barbecue and you pretend like this is not an imminent issue. This is cognitive dissonance for the first example I described as to how we need to continue to stay in the relationship we think. But with regard to this second example of the girl drinking on the margaritas at the barbecue, wine coolers, she has just had an epiphany and she's downplayed it immensely. She's downplayed it to a strong degree because she doesn't want to ruin her vibe. She has a vibe going right now. Just spoke to Joyner, Joyner too, so she don't want to blow her high. In essence, she doesn't want to think about the issue at hand. She wants to put it on the shelf and deal with it later. That's a bad idea. Don't put off tomorrow what you need to do today with regards to the narcissist. When I found out, when I Googled this, I already had seen and witnessed and experienced enough by way of the description that I was given in that definition when I Googled it. I tell you, it lit up, and I told you before, it lit up like a Christmas tree. My guts were churning. I have a lot of emotion going. I'm sure you guys, anybody who woke up to this like out of nowhere, out of the blue, you get side blind, you know, what you call it, side swiped. You get blindsided by it. You don't have any idea what you're digesting right now. You just know everything you're digesting is very much on point to what you've been living, and it's coming at you so fast mentally you can't grasp it. I'm sure some people went into panic attacks. I'm sure some people start breathing. Your breathing starts to get high, erratic. You're speechless. For me, I was in the car with my children. I was looking out the window of the car. I was like, and they were only two that I could really share. I was like, babies, this is wow. And I don't want to say unfortunate that they were in the car and I had to break this to them like this, but they in fact experienced a lot of what we all heard by way of that definition. And they were a lot smaller then, but they were very much able to comprehend based on the practical or the really, really simplified definition of this. And we went on to strategize from that point on. I told them, I said, we're not to speak to nobody about this. We're going, and then all of a sudden I got an idea, and I said, let's go tell her brother. And on the way up there, I was telling them the whole plan. I said, we're going to tell her brother, and in essence, he's going to go and tell her. I know. I'm going to tell him not to say a word, but I know, in fact, he's going to tell her. And that, in fact, is going to hopefully make her leave. And it worked. It worked just like I anticipated. I went supernova on her, now that I understand what that is. An empath that a narcissist meets that tend to have the strong conviction, even though we're not living a perfect life, we do have strong convictions. We will stand in our purpose. We won't renege on what you think of us or what we think of ourselves. We won't allow what you think of us to be any more than an opinion. That's it. We're hard pressed to conform to a lot of ideas that people pull out of their ass and expect us to subscribe to them. We don't play well with people with hidden agenda. We do all we can to be a supporter and a contributor to the situation, whatever that is, relationship, or whatever you want to call the situation. And this goes on and on and on. So when you ruffle feathers with an empath who's very, very much sound in their life, in their purpose, who's been, I'll emphasize, who's been through a lot of crap before this individual being a narcissist, or they've been involved with other narcissists not knowing they were narcissists. And so this thing has come to a head. It has come to a head, and now the pot is boiling. And that's when you go supernova on these individuals. You give them a lot of you get them a big piece of your mind, and you know everything that you are saying. You are not stumbling over your words. You're doing a total recall on them. You're not letting them get a word in edgewise because you've had enough. This is it. This is where the rubber meets the road now. So back to the subject at hand. That is the difference in a defective product or a damaged product as opposed to a defective product. A damaged product in many ways can be repaired and restored. Damaged human being in many ways can be restored and repaired to go on and live a life that's fulfilling. A defective human being, be it the narcissist, they're fractured so bad to the point where they don't even realize they're fractured. That is the first problem. You have to understand that you have a problem in order to be able to turn it around. And even if you don't wholeheartedly see all of the problem you have, if you can admit that you have a real issue that needs attention, you're on your way to some type of recovery. But that being said, guys, you have a wonderful Labor Day, and be blessed.